Which themes do you like to invest in? What's your sweet spot?
I think I want to start with a little bit more background.
Great.
I started in venture in 1992, which means I've been through quite a few cycles, economic cycles and venture cycles, and started Vista Ventures. I founded Vista Ventures in 2000. And I'm excited because this morning I got an email that we were just named one of the top 100 VC firms for 2010.
Congratulations!
So I had to start with that because I'm very proud of that, because 2000 was a very, very difficult vintage year for venture funds.
Right.
So Vista was started with some common, I would say, values and ideas about what venture should look like. And part of it was during the first internet bubble, a lot of people got into venture only because it was about making money, as compared to being about the entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And when I started Vista, everyone at Vista has had senior level operating roles, and we understand what the entrepreneur goes through. I'm not saying that's the only model, but I believe that that's important, that to understand entrepreneurs, you can be better in selecting and also better in helping. So Vista invests in IT broadly, but more specifically, we look at 3 converging or synergistic or almost codependent sectors of networks, software, and digital media. The reason I say they're codependent is if you had had an opportunity to invest in YouTube in 2000, it would have been a bad investment because there were not networks to support it. In order to understand what goes on in the mobility or the content space or the software space, knowing what's going on now in mobile networks and bandwidth and who's in power, they're all related. I mean, you can't have content without networks, and likewise, now that the content has increased, it's making influence on what people are doing on networks. So we see those 3 as influencing each other.
It's a really interesting combination.
Again, it's IT generally, but having expertise, each of us came out of one of those 3 sectors. Now I'm gonna, and it's useful to have the different perspective when you're making investment in any of those areas.
Yeah, definitely would add value. What do you look for in women entrepreneurs and startups that indicate interest to you in investing in their businesses?
So I have to say that I don't look for something different in women or any minority entrepreneurs. We look for the same things in entrepreneurs. And I guess I'm going to have to veer a little bit here, because one of the questions people always ask is, why don't more women entrepreneurs get funded, or why don't minority? And I want to start with a basic precept about human behavior. Humans, when they need to make a decision that is about the future, that has some risk to it, in general, subconsciously or whatever, they go to things that are more known to them. This, I think, is why, in the beginning, it was harder for women to get promotions or for women doctors. When you had to make a decision, if there was something different about the person that seemed unknown to you, you didn't know necessarily how they would react in a situation, people go to their comfort zone. This is it's not necessarily about discrimination. It's just an inherent thing that we do. Somehow someone that's like us, we believe we know how they may act, or it just feels less risky. So I think that's part of what goes on, is that it feels, and again, now women doctors are much more, it's a learned thing. Women doctors are much more accepted. But in the beginning, people might have felt uncomfortable with that because it was such a new thing. And new and risk, et cetera, making decisions. Now, when you talk about VCs funding, now you're not only talking about them taking risk, but they're investing other people's money. And they're starting a long-term relationship, and they have a responsibility. And so, again, I don't think it's this overt discrimination. I think that they're trying to make decisions about the future, and there's a risk profile in there. And inherently, they may see differences between, if they haven't worked or haven't seen a lot of women entrepreneurs, it's somewhat more of an unknown quantity to them.
Right.
And there are things that women do differently that may amplify that feeling of differentness.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
So, you had a question that, is looking for venture money like dating?
Yes.
And in some ways it is, but it's dating leading to marriage, because you are going to be making, the concept is a long-term relationship that is going to be difficult.
Yes.
And so when women ask me, how do I get venture? I guess I'm moving around, but...
yeah, no, that's fine. It's great.
It is like dating, but like dating, if you're really looking for marriage, the first rule is you have to be yourself.
Yes.
You can't pretend to be somebody else.
Point taken.
That said, there are ways to present yourself that are still true to you. So I'm going to use the dating analogy. Let's say you're kind of like the character in Sex and the City, and you're all fashion forward and love cities, etc. Should you start dating a guy that really only loves to backpack and be outdoors?
No.
And should you go to that date wearing, jeans, etc., because you want to be like him when that's not who you are? Well, that's not going to work long term.
Got it, yeah.
That said,
Right,
if you're a person that likes that, fashion forward kind of style, but you're also an outdoors person, when you go to that first date, what should you wear? You should probably wear something that first relates to that audience, being that guy, which is, I like to be outdoors, etc., even though both sides are true of you.
Yes.
So you have to think about that.
Yes.
And so when women are pitching to venture capitalists or finding jobs or whatever, any kind of men, there are subtleties about nonverbal behavior, what you wear, how you act, and again, venture capitalists are taking a risk. They want somebody that's confident,
yes,
and a certain amount of power as a leader. And there are ways, again, subtle cues that you can do that convey that or not convey that. There's some great research. I just went to a seminar last night on women on boards, and Professor Deborah Grunfeld out of Stanford University is doing some great research on the subtleties of how power is and isn't communicated.
yes,
And one way power is not communicated is fast movements and touching your face and higher voice and getting excited and too much gesticulation.
very good.
And versus, more of an open stance,
Yes.
low and slow.
Yes,
Now again, you have to be enthusiastic. You have to be yourself.
yes,
But you can be you can choose to be yourself in more powerful ways.
yes, definitely.
Because that's going to matter.
Yes,
So again, I have this story of this woman entrepreneur that I was helping, and bless her heart, she had very, very long blue fingernails. And as she was doing her PowerPoint and hitting the keyboard with these long blue they were very, very long.
yes,
I found them, even as a woman, very distracting.
yes, yes.
And said to her, you can choose whatever you want to do with this information, but realize if that is not important to who you are, that it may be getting in the way
Very good.
of you communicating in a way that they feel like, oh yeah, I know how this entrepreneur,
Yes.
subconsciously may respond to things.
Yes,
So it's not overt discrimination, it's how do people perceive confidence? How do people perceive, is this person wanting to take a risk? Are they want to build something big enough? And so it's the subtleties, not just, gosh, I need to date, so it doesn't mean I have to dress up if I'm going to a Bay Area VC in khakis and a blue shirt, right, to look like them. That's not it. It's about being you, but being aware of how you come across to that audience.
so how you can make them comfortable, but still remaining authentic and
Correct.
within your own integrity.
Right,
as
because
well.
it turns out you will not make them comfortable if you're not truly being yourself.
Yes,
People
yes.
pick up on that even if
Yes,
they're not aware
yes,
of it.
Yes, it really changes the dimension,
Yes.
doesn't it? Yes.
But so be yourself, but learn to give yourself more flexibility in your
Yes.
behavior, in
Yes.
your dress, in how you do things, and think
Yes.
about it from the perspective of the audience.
Yes. And the thing that I would advise clients around coaching in relationships is that it's always better to look at someone's actions than their speak. And that in fact you're going to get more out of that. And I guess in a way it somehow correlates with what you've just said, that you can still be authentic about yourself, but you might make yourself appear to be much more in line with their comfort zone, which is not changing your outer integrity.
Yes.
They can still see how you're going to act if they ask certain questions or... Yeah, very good. Thank
And do
you.
realize that, again, because they may have less experience with women entrepreneurs, and
Yes.
a lot of these things are learned.
Yes.
Again, it's not that they don't think women are capable, it's
No.
just they have less data. And
Yes.
that feels like more risk,
Yes.
because there are going to be hard times in your startup.
Yes.
It's not a maybe, it's a
It's a
given.
definite, yeah.